What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Millzy back with Hometown Commander. We're back for some more Brawl gameplay. For the last week, I've been recording some gameplay, so I hope this is something you guys are interested in. It's definitely something that interests me. If you haven't jumped on Arena, jump on Arena. It can be a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stuff to be played. Although we don't have access to Commander, we do have Brawl, which is a one-on-one format. Today we're going to be playing some Historic Brawl. We're going to be playing Jetmir, a.k.a. Catsby. A.k.a. the Nexus of Revels. This is a Naya tokens deck. What we're trying to do is swarm the board, get up to those 9 creatures for Jetmir, and make some massive attacks. Even at 6 creatures, getting +2/+0 Vigilance and Trample can be a lot of good, but especially at 9 when we get Double Strike, it ends games, and that's what we're trying to do today. So let's jump in. Let's play some Historic Brawl. I will probably curb a little bit of the Brawl content, standard Brawl content, until after we see Domineer United. Simply because we're, 2 weeks from rotation, to a week and a half or 2 weeks. So maybe if I have some Brawl decks that I don't need to craft some cards for, maybe we'll take a look at them. But I don't really see the good in, crafting cards right now for Brawl, considering we're about to hit rotation. So we're playing against Rock Landfall, a really fun deck to play in Paper Commander, but we'll see how well we get of a matchup here. We got Anax, which can do a lot of really good things for us. We got a 3-mana Rock, and we got Welcoming Vampire, which tends to do really well with our token producers. So let's see what we can do here. We see Risen Reef come down, so they're going to start setting up their value. Hopefully, we can get into some more stuff, and we don't. We see just in the land. Unfortunately, I feel like we're about to get. Unfortunately, we're about to get outpaced here. Unfortunately, I think we're probably going to be a little bit out of our window. Unfortunately, gotta love. What is that? A turn to 3, a turn 3. Was that a turn 3 a Rock? So always helpful. We'll set down the ring here. I mean, we still have a chance. Thankfully, your Rock isn't that big in the grand scheme of things. Yes, they're going to start doubling up on their triggers, getting some land triggers, but they have no way to pay it off yet. They don't have any big payoffs yet. We don't see any giant value engines yet, which still gives us a chance to come back into this. We still got plenty of time. So, as much as I don't love being down this many permanents this quickly, it's okay. It's only 4 this turn, which is definitely something we can come back from. We see Clothis, which definitely wasn't going to be my choice, but I think Clothis is now my choice for this turn. Maybe we can start getting some value back here on the next turn. And I guess at this point we try to drop, probably try to drop Anax next turn. Try to get towards this devotion goal. We see a Great Henge, which is very bad. That might spell the end of our fun here, depending on what they have in their hand. Again, we're only taking, 7 right now? So we're still in it. We're not out of the woods by any means. But we're certainly not loving the situation we're in. We see a Proud Wild Bonder. Which, okay, so we missed our Clothis trigger. So what I think we can do is Welcoming Vampire. We can Anax. And then this will at least give us some blockers here. So now their attack becomes a little less lethal. Hopefully we can try to rebuild here. We'll try to get this Wild Bonder down next turn, which would give us, I think, just 6 devotion. So Clothis won't quite be a creature yet. Oh, we see Thorn Mammoth, which is bad. The question would be what they target here. So they target the Vampire. They get the double trigger, so we're doing Anax as well. So we will end up with 2 Satyrs. The only problem, or at least 1 Satyr, I apologize, because they did the Anax first. But unfortunately, we can't block with it. So we will take a little bit here. Of course, we see another land, because why wouldn't we? So we're going to take another 7. The question at this point becomes, what the heck can we do to stabilize the board? And I don't think there's anything we can do at this point, so we'll just scoop that one up. Jeez, there's nothing like getting outplayed, just getting out curved completely. I don't really know what else we can do there as far as that goes, but I mean that's the way Magic works sometimes, right? You keep a hand that looks okay. 4-lander is something that we want. It gives us when we got a great spread of mana, and then we drew absolutely nothing to do with it, which unfortunately in a 100-card deck sometimes can be par for the course. All right, so here we see a turn 2 Sky Knight Vanguard, so I really like that. Gondor Uprising is a card that I'm really high on because it allows us to make a bunch of tokens, which is kind of what our deck wants to do anyway. So I really like that. So unless we see anything else that changes this turn 2 play, which Ranger class does, I think I prefer the Ranger class. I was gonna say if nothing else changed, we're gonna play the Vanguard. But now on our turn, we can Signet into Vanguard, which will add down some ramp, and it'll add down a creature that's gonna make a token when they attack. Now I would guess some sort of removal or some sort of counterspell. So let's see if they have it. We'll play the Wedding Announcement. Let's see if they have it. Do they have a counterspell? Do they have anything like that, or do they let the Wedding Announcement come down? So they're gonna Bone Crush the Wolf. Okay. So knowing that, you know, we know one piece of information on what they had. So I still could have gone for the Signet and the Vanguard. Of course, I guess they still could have crushed either. Okay. So if I go for this Arcane Signet, I still can play Vanguard. So if this gets countered, which it doesn't. So we'll try to go for the Jugen, and no stick at all. So they don't even have a counterspell that can target either of those. And we'll get the other one. All right, so what I like here is we're in Jetmir territory. Not that we want to use it yet, but depending on what they do, I was gonna say I like Gondor Uprising, but I think what we're gonna do here is drop the Vanguard, and then we can use this Cabaret Charm as a piece of removal, or we can use it on their end step to get some 1/1s, which will put us up to 6. Jetmir coming down would be 7, but we have a nice big attack if that's something we need to do. Cabaret Charm will also deal damage, which I doubt we'll use here. I'm kind of intrigued to see what their plan is. Okay. So they're going to basically wipe the board here. I think that's okay, because on their end step we can... I think we'll get the tokens. Jetmirs. We'll, Rowan Games. I know we're going to play into a little bit of a board wipe here, but I just kind of feel like we have to put some stuff on board. I feel like if we don't try to run at least something out here, we're just going to get out controlled. So I'm more or less tipping my hand here for a board wipe, but I mean, it is what it is at this point. We are playing a Grixis control list at the end of the day, so we have to be okay with some semblance of removal. So they're going to take out all our tokens. Oh, only one. That's right. Put the counter on that one. Let's put it on here. I kind of want to Plowshares the Massacre Worm, and then we can 1, 2, 3, 4. We can go 3 deep into an Aganjo Uprising, and that might give us a lot of good. So let's see. We'll go 3 deep here. Remember, they're all going to be 3/3s with, and we cannot pay any of these. I don't know why it asks me, considering we literally cannot pay for them. But we'll put this on in there. Now, these all have Vigilance and Menace, which means they're going to take 9, 16 here. So they're going to go down to 4. So let's see what their response is here. I mean, my guess is a board wipe, but let's find out. Okay, so they're digging. Basically here, they're going to try to dig, find something. My guess is we're out of Meat Hook territory, so we can't do that. A Meat Hook wouldn't do us any good. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of intrigued as what they were trying to do there, but all right, so there we just managed to play enough tokens to get us through. That's one of the reasons why I love Aganjo Uprising is it gives all of those tokens Menace and Haste, as well as the natural Vigilance that they get until end of turn. So hopefully you can create some really bad attacks. You can create some really bad blocks for your opponent, right? Because especially in that situation where we had the Wedding Announcement active,
Those come down as 3/3s with menace and vigilance, which would give us them back to block. But to be honest, I was really worried there that we were gonna have to fight more removal than a massacre worm. In fact, that seems like a really expensive removal to deal with that. Okay, so we have one of my favorite brawl cards in Curse of Silence. It's also one of my favorite commander cards as well. I kind of like it because you can pick a name of a card. In this case, I'm going to choose an Narset. It's going to cost 2 more to cast. And then when they cast it, I get the option to draw a card. So we're going to pick their commander. This is going to put Narset from 4 to 6, which hopefully will hold them back. I just realized I have no way to play this Vanguard. So we're just going to have to put this Temple Garden in tapped and pass the turn. There's nothing I can do there. Unfortunately, we're missing our red source here, which kind of stinks. So I guess right now we're building towards a Rasta. Hopefully we see a red source here. Chromatic Lantern from the opponent. Okay, there's the Forsaken Crossroads. We're going to call red. And we're going to have it untapped because we definitely want to use it. And we'll throw it out in Colossus. Oh, we'll get Colossus moving. That way, if they have removal for this Curse of Silence or they have something else, we can use it. Otherwise, Colossus will just be something we can build up towards. Okay, we see another piece of green mana. And we'll get a Rasta down. Also, it'll bring up the Devotion on our Colossus. My hope here is I can get a couple spiders out of it. We're playing against a Jeskai deck, which I assume is going to be playing spells. Even if they choose to remove this Arasta, we're still going to get a 1/2 in the process of them removing it. Hopefully not with a board wipe, hopefully with single target removal. So we'll see. All right, 5 mana to Fairy. And they choose to put Arasta into our library. Okay, I don't think I necessarily mind that. Let's see. What's our best play here? Vanguard plus Ranger class. Again, try to rebuild the board a little bit. Teferi cannot bury anything else this turn. It's going to have to draw. Maybe next turn we can set up a bigger Aganjo Uprising. At this point, dropping Jetmir would not turn on the Colossus, so we don't have that option. Hoping maybe we can see another creature. So we have one more card before we get to Arasta. So I'd love for it to be like a permanent. Then we can start trying to get this Colossus turned on. But I wonder. I was gonna say, do they waste a board wipe here for just 2 creatures? How many of those realistically do they have? So we see a land. I kind of want to Aganjo's Uprising for what, 4, and see what they have. I mean, if they have a counterspell, we're in a lot of trouble, no matter what. But I think we have to see if they have it at this point. So they'll get 3 2/2s, but the good part is we're guaranteed to get at least one of these through to Teferi. So what I'm thinking is 2 to them, 2 to Teferi. Because they have Menace, that means that they could block all the damage going to Teferi. And I'm more than content to let them do that. They could also just take it, so we'll see what they choose to do. Okay, which is okay. So we get rid of one of theirs, and we end up killing the Teferi unless they have a response here. Say Lightning Helix, the one going at Teferi. Okay, so they're keeping Teferi alive, which makes sense. We see our Arasta next turn. We definitely do not have enough mana to play both Arasta and Jetmir, but I still think I'm willing to slam Arasta because it gets us even closer to our Devotion goal, bring us up to 5. Jetmir would bring us back up to 7. So they play the Narset, so we'll go ahead and draw Arasta. We knew that card was there. Do they tick down here? Do they tick down and try to pitch the card and deal some damage? Try to get rid of one of the tokens, I guess. So they're going to get rid of one of the tokens. Okay. Seems like a lot of work for just one creature, if I'm honest, but okay. So if we exile a land, we get a mana. if we exile a non-land, we deal the 2 damage. So we'll get rid of Lightning Helix, I guess. Alright, we can destroy a Planeswalker with Fateful Absence, but I'd love to see what their response to this Arasta is first. Try to bait out the rest of this mana. Okay. Well, I see no point in playing Fateful Absence until we have to. If they're going to waste the Teferi to bury this again, then we can get rid of that Narset at instant speed. But they don't. They choose to draw a card. Now, what they're probably going to try to do, which is what 5 mana Teferi tries to do a lot, you try to tap out as much as possible, and then you use your untap at the end of turn to untap enough lands to have a counter spell or something like that up and available. So my hope is that I can keep him up. So I'm going to go ahead and just take out this Narset in response. Get that out of the way. Realm Cloak is a 7/7 with Vigilance, which is going to kind of suck, but we can do our best to take care of that as well. I don't think we even mind putting this Arasta in front of one of these tokens to just get rid of it. It gets rid of the permanent as well. We see a Boseiju. Okay, I mean, the Boseiju doesn't really help me, but I might as well use it to get rid of the Midnight Clock. Stop them from refilling their hand, which feels like kind of a moot point at this point because they're plenty outvaluing us on board. The getting rid of the Midnight Clock is not going to turn the tide, but I think it's still worth the play. And then we'll go ahead and throw the Lair of the Hydra down tapped. And I really don't see a point in playing Jetmir here just to run it into removal. In fact, I think, honestly, at this point, we probably lost. But I'm willing to play it out and see what happens. See if maybe we can turn the tide. But that 7/7 is going to get fun to deal with. So I guess the question becomes, do we Fateful Absence the Realm Cloak Giant instead of the Narset? And I guess that's a fair question. But I think I see the benefit of taking Narset away and making it more expensive to put back down and trying to find some other piece of removal to deal with the Realm Cloak Giant. But I think, unfortunately, we've just gotten really outvalued here. Everything that we've deployed on board has been gotten rid of. Every value engine that we've tried to play has been getting rid of. So, I mean, it's pretty clear to see why we've kind of just been shut out. I'm 1 mana off making this. No, I'm 2 mana. I'm 2 mana off making this Realm Cloak or this Lair of the Hydra able to block that Realm Cloak Giant and trade for it. So unfortunately, we're going to be just taking some hits if we can't find anything else. All right, so I could exile that Fabled Passage for some mana. So we'll see what we draw. We draw a Sacred Foundry. At this point, I think I'm willing to tick up the Ranger class. See if we can see anything on top. We don't. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be it. I don't think there's anything else I can do at this point. We've pretty much run our entire hand out. And there's nothing left. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But, I mean, hey, again, I think maybe my plays could have been different in slight parts. But I think, unfortunately, that's kind of a control deck doing exactly what control decks want to do, right? They want to set up. They want to stop us from doing what we want to do. And in all reality, they had the removal when they needed it. So as much as you can be mad, at the same time, you know, it is what it is. They had what they needed. We're never going to get to the double red for the burn down the house. I feel like we got to let that go. We run into the opposite problem here. I can servo on 2, but again, I don't know that I trust I'm going to get there. Here we got 3 lands, and we can just pitch this Anax here. And now we have all playable things. Let's go Lair of the Hydra on 1. Get it down, make sure it gets untapped. Unfortunately, no play until turn 3 here, but that's okay. Kinnan does not start with a Llanowar Elves or a Mana Dorks. That's huge. So they're not running on their best time track, which is great. That means we have a chance here. Normally, you see a Kinnan play a Llanowar Elves or a Mana Dork turn 1, which hopefully means they're slightly behind their strategy, which I would happily welcome. Let's get the Heroic Games done here, and I'll attack. Again, I expect to get blocked, but I'm looking for the life more than anything else with this attack. I feel like I have to try to get some incremental damage when we can get it. Next turn, we're probably going for Battle for Bredegard, getting another Saga going, because once this gets started, it can copy all of our tokens, get our tokens up there, and then we can try to maybe drop Jetmir for the win. I'm intrigued as to why this block is taking them so long. Does it mean they have a removal spell? Does it mean they have a Fading Hope or something in their hand and that's what was triggering it? Or were they just for some reason not sure on what to do? Alright, so we see a Manalith come down. Okay. Oh, we'll put him on the lifelinker there. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I like getting the Bredegard going here. And then we'll attack with this 4/4. Again, if they choose to block it or not, it's on them, because Ornithopter Paradise is going to tap for 2 at this point. So they're at, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're at 9 mana, so they can use that ability next turn. Again, intrigued as to why this block is taking them so long to decide on. Is it because it's triggering a spell in their hand, or is it just because they're not sure? I'm kind of intrigued. Green makes a lot of sense there, which means more likely than not, most of the creatures in their deck are green. So they chose to basically take that turn to set up, right, as opposed to go for Kinnan's ability. So if the Arowan of all, I was going to say, drawing us 2 is great. Ooh, Brutal Cathar. Oh, Brutal Cathar is really good. I just hope that we don't get outplayed. Well, I want to try it. I feel like we have to try it. This is going to bring out any counterspell they have. It's going to bring out any removal they have. And we see it stop, which means they have something. They do have enough mana to Kinnan in response. So, I'm content to let that happen. It's all like, not like I can stop it, but let's see what they get off the top. There's a lot of things that would be terrible. That kind of sucks for them, because now they can't use it. It's my turn. Yeah, no attacks, obviously. Yeah, that actually kind of stinks for them. Craterhoof would have been a lot better on their turn, where they could have taken advantage of that buff. Alright, so we're putting Kinnan back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so they do have enough to redo Kinnan's ability if they want to. We are behind on mana at this point, which really stinks. I guess an argument could have been made to go Chromatic Lantern last turn instead of Brutal Cathar, but I don't see it. Curse of Silence. I don't really see this doing me any good. So what could they have foretold? The one thing I don't like about Curse of Silence in Arena is you can't really shoot in the dark like you can on a regular computer. All right, well I'm gonna Jetmir because Jetmir is lethal at this point. We have 9 creatures, so this will see what they have. If they have a counterspell, then it is what it is. But they are now looking at a very lethal attack, so we'll see what their plan is here. These all have double strike and trample and vigilance. So right now, basically, they're hoping for, I guess, Kogla, Thorn Mammoth. They're looking for anything to come down and probably take care of Jetmir, right? because First Strike isn't going to do us any good in a fight. They get a Sludge Monster, which will take out Jetmir's ability, which is kind of a bummer. That's a huge bummer. So that makes this attack a lot easier to block, right? All of my advantage is now gone until I get rid of this Sludge Monster, which mega sucks, but it's okay. We still have 9 creatures. So if we can, that would have been the card I would have called for Curse of Silence, but I don't know if I was going to even be able to. You know, I sometimes Arena doesn't let you do that if you don't have vision of the card. It's not like it gives you their library and tells you what's in it. It'll, from what I can tell, and that's game right there. It'll only let you actually pick what you've actually seen. Otherwise, in a game of Commander, if I see a Foretold card in a big mana blue deck, I'm gonna pick Auron's Epiphany. It's the obvious choice. But every time that I've played Curse of Silence, I've never actually been able to choose a card of my choice. It always gives you this list of cards that you've seen. So I guess that's a gripe about Arena more than anything else. Now, again, I didn't test that theory because at that point, I don't think it really mattered. I mean, it was either that combat was going to go through or we lost the game at that point. I mean, Kinnan is one of those decks where when you let it set up and use all of that mana, at that point, you know, what are you going to do, right? I mean, at that point, they just have access to that ability so many times that it doesn't really matter. So as much as it stinks to go through that situation, I mean, Jetmir got handled in a really fair way, so I can't really be mad. I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just, it kind of irritates me there a little bit that I can't use Curse of Silence the way I want to in this situation. All right, so Nira, I have no idea if this even works the way it does in Commander. It does. Okay, so it works fairly similarly. Well, I guess we juke and then we'll attack, and Krenko will make us the tokens. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a board wipe here, but let's find out. Burn down the house. We go right into Nira. They have no open mana though, so kind of interesting. Oh, okay, and they scoop it up. Yeah, they probably scoop it up there because of the Krenko. I mean, at that point, Krenko's just going to get completely out of hand. They had no idea what I had in my hand, but yeah, we're going to try to, at that point, we're going to try to ride Krenko out. Now, I think in that moment, we did have enough mana for Jetmir, so we could have dumped Jetmir down, and then as soon as that Krenko trigger goes off, we would have had 9 creatures, and that would have given us lethal, which I don't know that I saw that playline, though, in the moment. I think I would have probably taken a few seconds to get there, but clearly now I can see that that was the playline. Ooh, we see Agnes, one of my favorites. Ton of fun. Well, I will turn to this Curse of Silence and call Agnes, just to slow them down. Go play the Arcane Signet, and then we'll play Curse of Silence, and we'll call Agnes. So the show all, I mean, yes, this shows all of, this shows every card. So I guess technically, okay, I could have, okay, technically I could have gone through the list and found the Auron's Epiphany, but I'm still going to say that it really didn't matter at the end of the day. Us whiffing on the Jetmir interaction was what lost us the game, not my inability to play, the Curse of Silence the way I wanted to. We're going to keep setting up here. I mean, it's possible he has another haste creature here, but we see a Foretell, which means it's probably Infernal Grasp. Or not, sorry, not Infernal Grasp. I keep thinking Infernal Grasp, and then I always think Infernal Grasp, but then I mean Poison the Cup. It's Poison the Cup that they probably have access to, and then we'll play Halo Fountain, get that down and working, and we'll swing in for the one. All right, so next turn our Ganja will flip. Still nowhere near the benefit of using Jetmir yet, but that's okay. Leaving up mana for the Poison the Cup, which makes sense. I guess this could be a Demon Bolt. Like, it doesn't necessarily automatically mean that it's Poison the Cup, but that's what I assume, just because it's removal. Do we do Soken'Zon for the spirits? Do we play really hard into whether or not they have removal here that can... If I attack 2, I can untap the other one and get a token back with Halo Fountain, which is what I think I'm going to do. So the attack's probably going to look kind of dumb to them, but I will happily replace that token with a 1/1. So we got the 1 point of damage through no matter what and got ourselves a token back. We could see a land Agnes here, which I wouldn't be opposed to. We can block it. Nope, they choose to leave all of that mana up. Interesting. Do we run Jetmir out to get removed? Yeah, I don't see why not. If they have the removal, let's at least parse it out of the way. They're going to have to use it. Or I guess they're just going to watch this attack happen. But, I mean, this attack goes whether they have the removal or not. Sure. So we get a bunch of damage through. So we can't use the Hollow Fountain there because they still had Vigilance from when Jetmir was out. So we've pushed them off of Agnes, I think, at this point. 6 mana for a 3/3 that comes in with those tapped treasure tokens. I guess it would be a 4/4 if they used that treasure. It does slightly make me stop and wonder what all they have at their disposal that they're waiting on. But I think we're going to go swinging again. We can untap some of them to draw a card with Halo Fountain if we want to, which I think is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for it and untap them to draw a card. I still have the option to do that to get a token as well. So we'll see what their turn is, and I think I'm leaning more towards the card than I am for the token. But let's see what... because I think the card's going to be more beneficial. Okay, so we see a... I could get the mana. Don't see the mana coming in handy, though. I think I'll take the 2 damage. Alright, we'll play the Field of Ruin. I think I'm considering going after the... Considering going after the command tower. Try to stop them a little bit on their colors. But see, I'm intrigued that they've yet to use this removal. So it makes me kind of wonder what this Foretold card is. And again, I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to leave these up because I can still Field of Ruin and I can still use this to draw a card. So we're going to leave this all up and wait and see what they're going to do. Good part is if they board wipe, I would say I can still draw off the Halo Fountain if they're going to go for a burn down the house or anything like that. And I can still Field of Ruin. So my guess there is they just must have never found the removal. And making Agnes that expensive just pushed them off of probably their planned treasure strategy, which of course we won't turn down, right? Because I think we definitely would have been okay had Agnes come down. But we definitely benefited from slowing them down, so I will happily take that. All right, not a bad hand. We have some ramp. Love seeing some good lands here. I'm gonna choose red because we tend to have an idea. We tend to have a worry sometimes with red mana, and there we go. We see a mountain right off the top. Sometimes, especially with stuff like Burn Down the House, sometimes we find some problems with getting that double red. So that's why I picked a red there also, because I figured if I don't see another red source, I'll need a red source for Jetmir. All right, here I'll just cultivate. If we're going to bother to have the turn, we might as well use it. We just saw the reds, so we'll get green and white. Put the white down, pick the green up. My other hope here is this turning on Farewell for later, even though I don't really need it. All right, so my really big hope is that we see a token producer here soon. And we don't. We see a replicating ring, which we'll get down, and then we'll get down this Welcoming Vampire. Again, might invite some removal if they have it, which I think I'm okay with. Hopefully we're done seeing lands off the top. So Elspeth's Nightmare gets rid of the Welcoming Vampire. All right, Brutal Cathar does me no good, but we'll put it down. And we'll pass it up. We do have the Heroic Intervention in case that becomes a useful piece here. I doubt it. Okay, so I guess they could get rid of the Farewell, which is probably their choice. But now they see the Heroic Intervention. My gut would say the Farewell. I mean, they can kind of see that I have the ability to reset the board, which is what they choose to do. I would guess they have removal for Brutal Cathar at this point. It's very rare to see a Grixis deck not have access to a ton of removal. We see a Fable Mirror Breaker. And we again see another land. So we're just gonna pass. I want it to flip tonight, so we'll just pass. Now they could try to remove it here and force me to play a spell on my turn. Otherwise, I really would just like it to stay tonight. Gives it ward, pay 3 life, so then at least they have to pay some life to get it out of the way. We see Overhilda getting pitched there. And a Blood Chief's Thirst. Okay. Yeah, exile our graveyard. So I have a way to get around most ways that they could wipe the board. I have a way to get around a board wipe. I have a way to get around single target removal. I don't have a way to get around a meat hook, though. So, I mean, if they just choose to meat hook, then there's nothing I can do. I'll take the risky block. I kind of feel like we have to, but they also could be expecting it and just wanting to get the treasure, which is exactly what it was. They just wanted to probably get the treasure. And we see another land. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Again, no benefit in dumping Jetmir. No benefit in playing Jetmir because it's just going to get removed. This is really aggravating when you see, and I've always had issues with arena shufflers, and this is just one of those situations where I just see it again and again becoming a problem. But look at this. You have a game like 2 games ago, where I couldn't get a 5th land to save my life out of our first few draws. And then now I have, 9 lands? Okay, I still should have a chance to respond. Right? Yeah, we'll just... They don't have to pay the 3 life now, but that's okay. Now they have the Rip Apart, which does the exact same thing. And if they rip apart the Brutal Cathar, unfortunately, I think we're probably just done. Because, again, we can't hit anything else besides lands and a Heroic Intervention. I'm intrigued to see, are they playing enough vampires? Because, I mean, I think the smart move here would be dump another vampire. You know, you still know you have 2 mana for this Rip Apart. Dump another vampire, see what you get off the top, right? Why go right for the Rip Apart if you don't have to? which they do. So do they have nothing else? I think I would want to dump another vampire and see what else you have access to. Interesting. So let's see if they get punished for it. They don't. They just see lands. Okay. A Ganjo Uprising would be great here. That would probably save me from the situation. Any piece of removal, board wipe removal, would save me in the situation. There's a lot of things that could help me here, but... and we see a first Rowan Games. Not really what I was hoping for. So they can play those, and they have a Hermit. So they choose to play the Mountain. Interesting that you wouldn't choose the Hermit there, just to give yourself some protection against a big spell, but I guess they must feel like they're far enough ahead in the lead that they don't need to. So they're going to get to look at 5. They get an Atris. Okay. So the general rule of most people with Atris is that they'll always take the 2, but they don't know what's face down. They do see the Nicol Bolas, though. So maybe they'll take, and then they take the Bolas. Okay. Now, of course, they have no idea what was in that third one. Bolas has come down. There's no card for us to discard, so that's fine. I think, I was going to say, I think we're burned down the house or bust at this point, and we don't see it, so we're going to scoop it up. Man, that's just really aggravating. I very rarely see land issues in Arena like this. It's just really aggravating when you're playing a fairly average amount of lands, and then you see nothing but lands off the top of your library. It's just, I don't know. You know, and the reason that it aggravates me here is because I don't have this issue in Commander. It's not because I'm like some pro shuffler and I you know, I have a way to stack my deck. It's just the reason that I play less lands in Commander is so I don't run into this issue. But the problem on Arena is if I play anything less than what, 35, 36 lands in Historic Brawl, you never see the damn things. So it's just kind of aggravating that you have to play these numbers to convince the shuffler to give them to you, and then you get nuked on the back end when you play too many lands, and then the shuffler gives you nothing but lands. Anyway, that's the end of my salty rant. Let's keep going. I can't keep that. Okay, I can keep that. That looks a lot better. I really would love to turn 1 Esper Sentinel, but we will just turn 1 Jetmir's Garden. Gives us the hello. We'll give him the hello back. Love seeing Soren here for more of the Spark. We see a kissy face from our opponent. Do I have him? I don't have him enabled. Oh, I do. We'll give him kiss face back. Some of my favorite emotes that they've done. See Adondo. All right, turn 3, we'll wedding announcement. So we see the stick there because they can technically do this, even though there's no reason to. So nothing in their hand because they have no mana up. See another land. And a Nighthawk Scavenger. I kind of want a Brutal Cathar this Nighthawk Scavenger. Get it out of the way. And really no point attacking. I mean, I guess I could and force them to pay the, what, 4 life to make it indestructible, right? But I don't know. I don't think that trade's worth it. I'd kind of rather try to wait to see until this flips. Do we see Soren come down? Or do we have another plan here? I'm intrigued to see, is this Vampire Tribal? Is this... What is this? I mean, we've seen 2 vampires so far, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Grandmaster of Flowers. So we're going to draw. This is a Planeswalker I haven't seen in a bit. Okay. I guess we get the Welcoming Vampire down, because at the end of the turn, I'm not going to attack with that many creatures. In fact, I will give them the trade this time to see if they care to take it and pay the 4 life. If they do, I mean, it's better than the 1/1. But I think I want the draw here. Now that'll flip, make all my creatures bigger. And I didn't play no spells, so Brutal Cathar is not gonna flip. It's gonna stay face up. All right, we're at 6. I don't have enough mana to play Jetmir, or really, in all reality, anything else all that relevant. I could join the dance and keep up Sword the Plowshares, which could get rid of this Edgar. I take it yeah, +1 on the Welcoming Vampire. Okay, so we got a Cavalry Courtyard here. I think a green makes the most sense here to even out our colors. Okay, 3 mana. Like I said, I think I want to join the dance. This is going to get me up to 8 creatures, which will allow me to have a really good Jetmir play next turn. And then I'm going to keep this Plowshares up, and we'll pass it over. They can still +1 on any of these with Grandmaster, but I'm sitting in a great position now to Jetmir on my turn with 8 creatures. But I expect we'll see some sort of removal. Mass removal, whether it's a board wipe, whether it's a Meathook Massacre. Like a Meathook Massacre would be huge at the moment. And as far as rebuilding from the Meathook Massacre, we really don't have a great rebuild. So that's why I think Meathook Massacre would be the most devastating at the moment. I'd really love to get this Edgar completely gone. Cleric of Life spawned. Okay, that's fine. Blight Priest. I know I'm gonna hand them the life, but I kind of want to get rid of this Edgar. I kind of want it gone. Okay, they are wide open. They are wide open for this Jetmir attack, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They can get rid of one of my attackers, but they are dead right now to Jetmir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jetmir is going to give them all our big bonus, and that's going to be game. So they're all going to attack in. They all have Trample, Double Strike, and Vigilance. And so no matter how they block, I'm pretty sure they're dead on first strike damage. There's no fancy spells they can play here for free. This isn't, you know, there's no Deadly Rollick, which they couldn't play for free. They don't have their commander. There's no fancy free spells they can play at this point. I don't know if they know that they have all of it, which is fine. I don't know that they realize that they're hitting that hard or not. They did not realize. All right, and we scoop out the win there. Whew, that one was a little tight. That was definitely tighter, right? Getting into the... So we've seen what? We've seen a control deck. We saw a good mid-range deck there. Let's go one more. Again, the goal is not to be the best Brawl player in the world or play the cleanest I can. In all reality, I play Brawl because I want to learn. I want to learn more about the game, especially 1v1. You know, I play a lot of 4-player Commander where your game plan is different, your game interactions are different, and the way that you handle the table is different. So I do enjoy one-on-one Magic because it just shows you a different side of the game. I don't love this, but I don't hate it either. I did not realize we were playing Shrines. I did not look at that. Ooh, okay, so we're going to go get a Mountain here just because of the double red for Chandra. We see a Tranquil Light on turn 1. Of course, it takes them a long time to get to be able to use it. Am I shocking in a Temple Garden to play either of these? I kind of feel like I have to at this point. I have to start trying to get myself at least a little bit ahead. Rockfall Veil comes down next turn, and I think we Chandra. Again, depending on what they do, but I think at this point, I think that's my best play. Okay, we see Stonefang, or we see the Shattered Heights. So we'll Rockfall Veil and we'll Chandra. Hit that 0, and we'll bring in for 4. So it's just creature or player, or planeswalker. So they could take out Chandra if they put another shrine down. Okay, so they are all in on the shrines. So I think I need to go all in on making these tokens. Get as many tokens down as I can. I just realized that, did the shuffler just tap that wrong? I only have access to 1 white. So I guess that makes sense. I thought I had more than 1 white mana. I do not, so I guess that makes sense. Discard 3 cards. We'll discard a Rasta. We'll discard Join the Dance. And we'll discard Soakins. And Join the Dance is going to come back. I like this because this is going to buff all of our creatures. So unless they have a wipe here or any way to put up blockers, we have 6 times 2 would be 12. So that wouldn't be lethal. But it would be close, which I think is important. Fortune close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but getting them down to 1 life I feel like wouldn't be bad. Okay. They shock it in because I guess they're going to try to Stone Fangs for the Chandra, which makes sense. That seems like a good play. Cool. All right, so I kind of got to dump my hand, otherwise I'm going to lose it. I kind of like Valorous stancing the Goshintai, making it more expensive. Unfortunately, that rids me of my Heroic Intervention now, because I'm going to pitch it to the Knight's Reach, but okay. Yeah, I'm content to get one of their Shrine tokens out of the way. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why they'd block with it. You want it for the Knight's Reach, but... So we do have potential Jetmir shenanigans, depending on what they do. The best play for us is they dump another land and get down Goshintai. The worst play for us would be a board wipe, and that's what we see. We see no land, because that would just make sense. Get down the Brutal Cathar. And I think, unfortunately, we, again, so look at this. 4 lands, and we're on, what, turn 5, maybe? But, 2 games ago, we had more lands than we know what to do with. So this is just one of those aggravating things at times with the Shuffler in Magic Arena, where you just kind of got to accept it and move on. And, I mean, in my paper list, I play enough ramp to get myself to 7 mana consistently, no matter what my opening hand is. Now, I know that, of course, Commander and Brawl are radically different games, but that just goes to show you the difference in the... Not just the card access pool. Yes, there are different ramp spells that I have access to in Commander than I do in Brawl. But it just goes to show you the difference in a one-on-one format where little advantages like having enough lands become really important. We see a Prismatic Bridge. Ouch. Ouch. Dump a Welcoming Vampire and hit for 2. What do they get off the bridge? We see a Sithis. Well, that's not the best thing in the world, but it's certainly not the worst. Do they replay their commander? That could work out well for us. We see a Sterling Grove. Makes a ton of sense. Sanctum Weaver. Ouch. See, I would say, like, oh, you know, burn down the house. Oh, well, the problem is we only have 4 mana, so it's not like we can even use the burn down the house even if we got it. Okay, we'll join the dance, I guess. I have nothing else better to do. At least it draws me a card. Or they kill the Welcoming Vampire before it goes off to stop me from drawing the card. Which is exactly what they're going to do. I guess they could double block it and not take, yeah, I would say, but it doesn't really make any sense. Nothing to discard. Bridge gives them a Cetessan champion, so we're just going to continue to mine the value. I think we've lost at this point. I'll try my best to try to sneak in some more damage, but Sanctum Weaver's tapping for a lot of mana. Go Shintai's going to draw them. The token's going to draw them. Yeah, I think we just got to call it. That's so much mana in the grand scheme of things. Man, that kind of sucks, but hey, that is the fun of Historic Brawl. Sometimes you miss your window, and sometimes you get to watch a 5-color deck completely go off. But that is all I have for this time, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the games, and I will come back at some more Brawl for you soon. I will catch you next time.